And here we are. We shall be live to the internet. It's MoDXtra, everybody. Oh, there it is. My little phone notifications has gone off to let me know that we are now live. Watch live now. I wonder if there's anybody about. Wilfredo on the bus, perhaps, who's already commented on the vid to let us know that he's concerned about his potential 4G signal situation. I need to turn that off though, and I need to do a quick refresh of the chat. There we go. Chat refresh happening. Chat refresh happening. Come on, chat refresh. And Bobby Dubs is here. Did you see Roman's toy bridge later today? No, I did not. Oh, man. See, these people, they need to know that I prepare this stream the night before. Let's have a look then. Wilfredo. Yeah, there we go. So that'll be ramen toys. Right, we'll check that out in a bit then. I'll do a quick web search on the fly a bit later on. And Jono Redmond's here. Hi, Jono. Pleasure as always, my friend. No, I also noticed that there's been some Marvel Legends stuff announced and some of the prepared things that I've got set and ready to talk about this evening have also progressed since I prepped everything up for tonight's stream yesterday. But that's fine. You know, we can improvise, of course. I'm only a couple of hours out of date, I think, by the looks of it. Typically. So ramen toys, yeah, okay, we'll check that out in a bit. We'll have a wee nosy, shall we? And see what's the what. I'm assuming it's some kind of like fold out, you know, big old jobby. Oh, do you know who? Actually, if I go to my Twitter, there'll be some folks about who will be talking about it, I'm sure. But not right now, not while you're watching it. It would not be very entertaining. There's Brian. Hiya, Brian. I saw your tweet earlier that if you're sorting out your customs issues, man, I feel for you. I completely empathise with your plight right now. That bridge layer tanks you posted this week look way bigger than the previous one, Bobby. Or was it just the angle? That's what she said. All right, we're gonna have to have a look at this bridge right now, aren't we? One sec, then. Where was it on the Ramen Toys Insta or something? Would that be a good place to head? Let's go to Instagram, and I definitely follow Ramen Toys, so they should be in my subs. Here we go. And then if I move that over there, full screen that, move the chat over there so I can carry on reading your fine comments, and then let's go for a quick screen change. This one here, there we go. This is what we're talking about, Bobby Dubs. Look at that. Just give the man-child his toys. Right, so Bobby's saying here now, you've taken me immediately off script. Hang on, I'll tell you what, before we go any further, just for the purposes of anyone watching on video on demand, welcome everybody. It's the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles live stream where... Oh, now the button's not working. Why is my button not working? Oh, because I'm not on the normal screen. Typical. Hey, GeForce. How's it going, my man? Right, okay, so is this what we're talking about, Bobby, yeah? The armoured vehicle, 1/12 scale for 6-inch action figures. This is the bridge layer. Real working tracks, individual suspension road wheels, detailed interior, and more, but for less in price. Come see the prototype debut at F.I.S.T. Hey, Curtis. I'll give you the listen to your friend Chris properly in a minute when I'm on the screen that it's programmed to go off on. So there we go. Okay, yeah, so he's got it all folded out there. That's the Ghost Rider chilling in it. Wow, look at that. But then I also noticed on his... yeah, there you go. So according to... Bobby's just commented, I can't keep up with the chat and surf the internet. So Bobby's just said there... that's the one. It also has an attachment to change it into the Wolverine, which is this one here. This is the Phalanx rocket launcher. Although this guy here said it's sold out. Oh, it's not sold out. It's not been offered yet. All right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, any of you folks, I know G-Force, you're heading over to F.I.S.T. We'll all be very eager to see any pickies or videos while you're doing your vlogging, I should say, while you're doing your vlogging of that. Yeah, okay. No, I hadn't seen that, Bobby. Thanks for the heads up. I mean, as you well know, as a regular around these parts, it's not something that I'll be picking up. I've got very limited space when it comes to vehicles. However, a very exciting find, and I thank you for the heads up, my man. Now let's switch back over to the news screen. There we go. Now I can give you the... Oh, what? No, my button's broken. It's obviously not working. Why is that not working?
Listen to your friend Chris.
No, it was just... it was just on a time delay. Right, let's have a look. See, now I can see the chat. So, yeah, Brian's having trouble with the post office, customs. The bastards will get you at least once. Everyone's saying hello, catching up. Yeah, okay. So Jono here says, yeah, that's the small-looking one that Chris is showing, but the tank version he posted this week looks much bigger. Oh, that's curious. Curtis in the house. Hello, Curtis. And then the mention of the attachment to turn it into the Wolverine. G-Force is liking the look of a bridge layer. Chris, Vern's Twitter has the new version in pic form. Right, I'll check that out, Jono. Thank you very much. I'll take some pictures and share them with you. Thank you, Curtis. Yes, one of the Joe Bros. And then Jono's got a few choice words to say about customs as well. They got me recently as well. What did they get me on? I can't remember. It was something coming over from the States, though, and they clipped me, the buggers. Yeah, they're a pain. They're a real pain. Am I a bit dark? Should I turn myself up a bit? That's a bit better, isn't it? There we go. Right then, folks. Well, immediately, straight away into a bit of a detour. Well, what I'll do is, because this happens to us quite often, is I'll set up my interchangeable screens a little bit more fluidly, to move a bit more fluidly between them, and so that all the various bits of functionality like the chat and that is available on all the screens, so that we can be continue to be more flexible with the streams and jump around stuff and talk about things. And I'll start factoring that into my plans, because as always, I've got some prepared material for us. It's a number of things that have caught my eye over the last week or two, that I'll just, share in my little window here, have a chat about them. Oh, everybody, take a moment, please, to welcome Marvel Fan, new to the channel, but from what I see, your videos are really good. Well, I appreciate your kind words, Marvel Fan, and you're very welcome. I'm very glad to have you join us this evening. Please feel free to get involved in the chat. There's a few folks around who are regulars around these parts, so they'll help you get into the rhythm of things. But really, very, very welcome, my friend, and thank you for. I appreciate your lovely feedback. That's always great to hear. Oh. I never know what to do now. See, I'm in that weird state of embarrassment because someone's giving me a compliment. Because remember, folks, I'm British and we don't do that. All right, we're going to have a bit of discussion about customs. So GeForce is asking, is the trick for the US sender to mark the value low to avoid customs charges? Well, yeah and no. I've tried all the things, like having it sent with the gift box ticked, with the value dropped. In some instances, if they suspect it's inaccurate on the label, they'll just open it up and take a look. Make a decision. I don't know about Ireland, but over here in the UK, on the island, on GB, they'll slice it open and take a look at the product and check out the barcode and charge you regardless. But in addition to your taxes that they charge you, you then get a fee. You get charged a fee for the period of time, like a handling fee. So you get the customs bill, and then you get the post office's bill. Again, I can only speak for over here in the UK, but I suspect it's similar over in Ireland. So I don't think that does work, GeForce, to be honest. I've tried it all. Jono, customs needs to spend more of their time looking up dodgy people's bottoms and not paying attention to action figures I buy from Australia and Japan. Preaching to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir. Absolutely, yeah. But of course, it's all about revenue generation, isn't it? Tax revenue generation. Nothing speaks more loudly than the green. Everyone's saying hi to Marvel fan. John is saying, never put the real price on stuff, otherwise customs have a field day. And then Brian swung in with a little bit to contribute to this discussion. It seems to be an EU thing now since 2022. Anything coming into the EU is checked for import taxes, not customs. You get further customs if something is over 120. And they're very annoying handling charges, yeah. So it sounds like it's pretty similar to what I experience over here in the United Kingdom. But, I order stuff from overseas all the time. And I get a fair bit of stuff sneaks through as well. So it's a lottery. It's a total lottery, isn't it? And sometimes that one time they do get you. I'm just like, well, bastards got me. That's what, the house always wins eventually. Marvel fan saying hello to everybody, and then continuing the discussion. Yeah, AM Post over here charge a €3.50 handling fee on top of the customs charge, even though it's all handled online by the person stuck with the customs fee. Yeah, and, right, when the thing comes in, so shipping container, plane, whatever, and you got your postal storage area, the handling fee you get charged is for use, basically, of the same shelf that they used anyway. So they take it out the container or off the plane, they put it on the shelf, and then they make a decision as to whether you're getting charged a customs fee or not. And then they bill you a handling fee for being on the shelf it was on anyway. I mean, obviously, presumably that charge is because it's going to be an extra couple of days on the shelf until you pay the bill or whatever. But still, it fucking sucks. It does my head in. In this day and age, like, I paid tax on it with the retailer I bought it from in the country of origin. So if we're going to be a global economy, then let's just be a global economy. Star Trek future. Bring on the Star Trek future. Right, in any case, should we get started with the pre-prepared material? He says nearly 15 minutes in. So I've lined up a few bits for us to talk about. And as usual, we'll just follow our way through any pathways or cul-de-sacs that leads us into. Usual kind of roundup of stuff. Got a couple of updates on some usual things that we keep an eye on, really. Or I keep an eye on, and you guys come and watch me keep an eye on it. And then we'll open it up at the end if there's anything else we want to take a look at or have a chat about. So let's kick it off, shall we? And I'm going to start with Tony Boy again. Jesus. You guys are going to be thinking, God, he's so obsessed with this guy. But the volume of announcements and news and information and new figure reveals and all that from McFarlane is so relentless that you can't not do a news update without something McFarlane related in the mix. But it's a little bit different today because I noticed, and I'm sure some of you guys saw this knocking around, that McFarlane announced a Marvel license, and they're going to be doing action figures, although we'll talk about that in a sec, in Check's notes, 1/10 scale and 1/6 scale. Now, I've got a couple of pictures of them, actually, but they've got dios, backgrounds, comic books, trading cards included. Going to be based on the artwork of, obviously, Todd McFarlane himself, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Steve Ditko, John Romita, all his buddies from the early 90s, basically. And they're coming down the pipeline summer 24. In fact, here's the pickies. So they're not action figures at all. They're classic McFarlane style statues. They're very similar in tone and tenure to like the Movie Maniacs and the Music Maniacs stuff. Although the Music Maniacs have got a bit more articulation going on. I'm very pleased, actually. I have to admit, for all my talk of displeasure with Todd McFarlane, really great to see a classic Todd McFarlane Spider-Man statue made by Todd McFarlane's own company. I think that's pretty cool, because that's just an iconic era with an iconic look and an iconic art style that's all kind of synonymous with a certain period in Spider-Man history. The Captain America. To be frank, I know it's pretty small there. Here's the link. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. But the Captain America looks a bit shonky, a bit shaky as all that. Now my link button's not working. Jesus Christ, technical issues today. I'm just distracted by the chat there. So yeah, an interesting one. If you're into more kind of statue-esque kind of builds, I would say that's possibly where Todd really does shine. I mean, if you've seen any of his DC Comics statue stuff, some of it's expensive, and I haven't seen a price suggestion knocking around for these. But with some of it being 1/6 scale, I think it's probably going to be a hefty price. And that's where he shines. That's where he's better. I've said many a time reviewing DC Multiverse figure that it's actually a statue with a bit of action figure articulation than it is, an action figure. And they have these kind of more statuesque qualities to them. So I'm glad he's just leaning into it properly. I understand that the reason that these action figures are like this is because based on the Hasbro agreement with Marvel, and so there was only a very limited, very narrow type of product that he was going to be permitted to make. But interesting nonetheless. It did say in the article I was reading, so I saw it on the McFarlane Instagram, but then it did say in the article I'm reading that the 1/6 scale stuff is going to be Todd's own artwork. The statue's based on his own artwork, whereas everything else is going to be in 1/10. So we'll see how that pans out. But it just leads to, well, actually, let me just pause jump into the chat, because there's a few people commenting on that, and then I'll kind of add a secondary layer onto this. So just to wrap up a bit of customs chat there, Jono's saying the shelf they store my parcels on should be made of solid gold. The amount I've paid them. Fair play. Good one. Brian's going to embrace our new Klingon overlords. Absolutely. Bobby asks, what happens if you cancel order? You get charged twice for the shelf, one coming off and one on the plane back. Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried. I've always wanted my man-child goodies, haven't I? Right, here we go. Right, so Todd needs to make the Rob Liefeld cap cover just for the lols. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Although this cap's shaky enough as it is. But yeah, that would be hilarious with the with the massive chest. Oh, well, that's embarrassing. I was eating a donut earlier and I've just noticed I've got little bits of dusted sugar on my t-shirt. Oh man, my buttons aren't working. I've got donut smears on my t-shirt. This is the height of quality streaming, folks. Oh my days. Oh well, whatever. Let's hang on. Just oh, what the? I'm trying to look at myself in the thing, so it needs to go that way. Just position the microphone in front of it. Anyway, that was a momentary distraction. Marvel fan. I wish McFarlane actually did Marvel figures well. Maybe bigger characters so they can scale decently with Marvel Legends. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? The whole DC multiverse being 7-inch bugs me sometimes. I've got some DC multiverse out at the back there right now. You can probably just see the edge of Wonder Woman and Batman. And I do love my DC characters. The folks who've been around here, these parts a lot on a regular on streams, I always bitch and moan about the DC multiverse, but you know, you dance with the one that brung you, and Todd's bringing DC, isn't he? So, and I've got my issues with distribution and stuff and getting hold of the figures over here. But one of the things that has always hurt me is the disparity in scale. But on my little spice racks that I used to display my figures on back there, the 7-inch, the McFarlane ones, are just ever so slightly too big to make the display look nice, whereas the 6-inch is just right. You know, that size difference makes all the difference when it comes to spice rack shelf displays. Oh, hey, Wilfredo, riding the bus, says, you couldn't put articulation in them due to the fact that it would compete with Marvel Legends figures. That sucks, but it's the only way you could sell them. Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that before. Brian says, I'm happy enough for them to make statues as long as they never get the main license. Yeah. I mean, I'd love Hasbro to get their hands on the DC characters. I'd love to see Marvel Legends style. Good Marvel Legends style with some of the DC characters. Marvel fan, just a quick detour here. What is your live stream schedule so I know when to try and hop on? Usually on a Tuesday night, around nowish. I usually start at 10 p.m. UK. So whatever 10 p.m. UK is in your local time zone there, Marvel fan. Wilfredo is digging the Spider-Man statue. Yeah, I mean that's where where the legend of Todd McFarlane began, wasn't it? With the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man stuff back at Marvel. Putting a statue together that just looks like one of his famous covers. Although why they're including that comic book with it when it's not the one with the famous cover, I don't know. But who knows who's making decisions. And then I don't know. Wilfredo Diaz, Hasbro only has a master toy license for Star Wars. Marvel is free for all when it comes to action figures made by other companies. Yeah, okay, Jono. So the article I was reading, which will have been, Toy News International or Toy Biz or maybe it was Den of Geek or like the Comic Book Geek or something. The article I was reading explicitly called out, and in the interview that they had, the Q&A they had with Todd in there, he says that he couldn't put articulation. He specifically called it out and said he couldn't put articulation in because the nature of the agreement that Marvel had with Hasbro about articulated figures. So there's obviously something in the fine detail, in the fine print there, that prevented him from articulating them. But who knows with that type of paperwork. G4 says, would be nice if they're heavy enough to be bookends. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, although G-Force, the decorated background, I think is just firm card. I only think the bases themselves are actually sculpted. I think the background is just cardboard, so they might not handle it so well. Although you could obviously take the backing off, couldn't you, and line them up. We are here to hear what you have to say, not your food stains. Thank you, Will. Brian says, Hasbro getting DC would be amazing on the other hand. Yeah, absolutely. And Johnny Redmond says, yeah, if Marvel or Classified team got them, Brian, defo not the Star Wars Muppets. I would love the Classified team to get their hands on the superhero IPs. I'd love for them to walk down the corridor and offer a bit more advice or get involved a bit more with the Marvel Legends stuff. So I know some of you guys watch my reviews. One of the things I'm always whinging about with Marvel Legends is painted on, like boots and gloves and things. Whereas obviously G.I. Joe Classified, they sculpt all that stuff in. You get sculpted boots, you get sculpted gloves and gauntlets and all those types of things. And that always annoys me. Like the Dark Phoenix figure is great. Looks like a lovely figure, but they always look so sheer and shiny. The sort of spandex superhero outfit, but because there's no sculpted detail, Like the McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figure that I just dropped the review of recently. One of the things I liked about that was the S. On the chest was a sculpted on S, not just a decal, and the boots are sculpted and the gloves are sculpted. All right, there was inaccuracies around the boots and the gloves and the belt with regards to the DC Classic Superman, but they were sculpted on. So was the S on the chest, and sometimes figures in Marvel Legends that catch my eye, like Cyclops with the sculpted on details on him and stuff, make a difference to me. Marvel fan, what is your top 3 Marvel Legends for the year? Oh shit, dude, that's wow, asking me a question like that on the fly. So a couple of things of note there, I suppose, Marvel fan. The first is that the large majority of my collecting when it comes to Marvel Legends is X-Men centric. I'm an X-Men fan. I buy a few big Avengers-y characters here and there. So I've got a Captain America and a Black Widow, etc., etc. A Hawkeye. I need a Thor, actually, but an Iron Man, so on and so forth. So it's largely Marvel Legends X-Men stuff that I pick up. Although Black Widow would be on the list in the top 3. What order would I put her in, though? I don't know. So, yeah, Black Widow would be on the list. I'm just trying to think what else. What was this year? Where are we now? I might have to have a look at my channel. I'll tell you what, Marvel fan, remind me, I'll swing back round it. I'll have a look at my channel and see what I've reviewed this year. I really liked the Chamber figure, although it's actually not a great figure, but I liked it. I love that big fiery stuff. What else have I reviewed this year? I've picked up some of the X-Men 97 stuff. And the animated stuff was last year, wasn't it? What have I picked up since January? Oh, Sabretooth. He's around somewhere. Love Sabretooth. And I really like Strife. Although I don't like the 5-pack he comes in, but I like the figure Strife. There you go, that'll do. We'll swing back round to this discussion in a bit, though, for you, Marvel fan. Johnny says, I just wish Marvel Legends would do soft good capes, make such a difference to a figure. Yeah, so my M. Bison arrived, Jono, and the soft good cape is pretty good on that. Pretty damn good. Brian, the new Doom revealed in the 3-pack today as a cloth cape. Yes, it does. But they revealed it today, too late for me to prep it up to talk about on this stream. So it's... the Doom looks good, actually. I like the look of the Doom. Not so keen on the Taskmaster. And I can't even remember who the other one was. Oh, it's Iron Patriot. Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot, isn't it? Was it Iron Patriot? Was that the name of the character that he was in the Dark Reign stuff? The Cabal? Can't remember. Jono, the MCU figures tend to have sculpted details, Chris. And they do stand out more on the shelf compared to the comic-based figures, in my opinion. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So I don't buy any MCU at all. In fact, I own 2 MCU figures. Maybe 3. No, definitely 2. I bought Martin Freeman's character from Black Panther, and I bought Tony Leung's character from Shang-Chi because I wanted to do a head swap and make Tony Leung from Hard Boiled in a suit, and I've given him 2 pistols. So and that's the extent of my MCU, I think. Do I own any other MCU figures? I don't think that I do. So that's curious. Yeah, more sculpted details. Actually, now that you say it, my was it Wenwu was the name of the character that Tony Leung played? More sculpted. Curious. No soft goods on Taskmaster. Hey, Real Zim. Sorry, I've only... apologies for being slow on noticing your arrival. Great to have you here, my man. G4 says, I say no! Exclamation mark. Stop reissuing the same figures under different companies. My wallet can't take any more and my house is bursting at the seams. Make it stop! I hope you appreciated my dramatic interpretation of your comment there, G-Force. Baby steps, I guess, with a whole new body and pinless arms and legs for him. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's... Yeah. Oof. Jesus. And Johnny says, that Doom looks good, but not a fan of the short skirt look. Prefer the last Doom they did with the green and then the white. Yeah, that was a good-looking Doom too. But G-Force is mainly MCU and have a few comic characters. Interesting. Yeah. Well, speaking of cloth goods and character detail, right, I'll come back to that one in a minute. The new Darkseid, the Megafig Darkseid, was also announced. It was at a convention, but I didn't notice what convention it was. That's available for pre-order today, but the reason I've popped it on as a prepared piece of material is because it's good, classic look characters. That's just got the the Jose Garcia Lopez early 80s vibe about it. The Kirby-esque interpretation from the likes of Jose Garcia Lopez and George Perez style stuff, with the boots and the cape and the D thing on his chest there. Very similar to the old Kenner Superpowers fig, if memory serves me correctly. But it actually looks like a decent Megafig. This is where McFarlane, again, shines. While I might have a few things to say about his Superman and his Wonder Woman, the Megafigs always look really good. I love my Bane Megafig and my Lobo and stuff because of the sculpting detail. I'll be skipping on this one, though. I'm much more into the more modern interpretation, the modern versions of Darkseid. But cloth good cape, which is notable. But I'll just jump back a slide because while I was talking about on the subject of the Marvel license, this is, let me check my notes because I did a little research on this one. So since the start of the year, in the last 12 months, these are the license agreements, the new license agreements. I've not included license renewal press releases that Todd McFarlane has announced. Like he's just hoovering up as many licenses as he can. So the McFarlane one, the Hasbro one with the little page puncher minis, which look really pants to me. Then you've got the Universal movies, where that's for his Movie Maniacs range, so we can start rolling in Universal classic characters in there. The UFC, Blizzard, which is what's Blizzard's big game? World of Warcraft. Warcraft. Then The Walking Dead, and then Viz Media for Bleach. That's in addition to Avatar: The Last Airbender, Avatar the movie. He's already got some anime deals for some older figures that he's got going on. Just all sorts of stuff, just hoovering up licenses from all over the place. And it did cross my mind very briefly because one of the complaints I had about the DC Multiverse recently was that I felt like the price was creeping up, but the quality was also dipping down. Whether he's started to, put a bit of pressure on the old spreadsheet in the finance office there, striking all these deals, and whether it's sustainable, and how much, because that will be more staff, more designers, presumably, unless he's just going to put his designers and whatnot and sculptors on the grind, which comes at an increased cost and so on and so forth. So I suppose the question I had in relation to this little piece of news around McFarlane and Marvel was, is a company having a lot of licenses like this a good thing? I'm not sure it is necessarily. Not at McFarlane Toys size. Or is this an indicator that they are, in fact, growing? I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. Let's see what you guys think in chat. Well, I take a brief cup of tea break. Yeah, I'm not sure, and it's quite an eclectic mix of stuff, isn't it? When you think about Music Maniacs, Movie Maniacs, all this different stuff, and it's quite an eclectic mix of things, and I'm just a bit skeptical about whether now is a kind of a potential breaking point, as McFarlane is stretching himself too thin. Because when I saw the McFarlane and Marvel press release announcement, I was like, have they not announced this already? I'm sure I saw a thing about a license agreement, and then I went back and had a look through the news page on the McFarlane website, and it's just license agreement, license agreement, license agreement, a load of competitions, which he only does for North American customers. And then, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, put it out there, so see what you guys think, but if you want to drop into chat with any comments. But there you go, that'll wrap up the McFarlane stuff. I'll wrap it up there with Darkside. Mega Fig there with the cloth caper, all that. What's next on my list? Fresh Monkey Fiction. It's time for the Operation Monster Force watch. As you guys know, we've been keeping an eye on this line with interest, and we've had yet more promo pictures of actual figures that arrived in the last week or so. This is Van Helsing here, looking all right. And let me check which link number that is. Link number 2. There we are. Yeah, no worries, Marvel fan. No need to apologise. You go do, you go do what you need to do. It'll be available to catch up on video on demand if you want to swing back by and see the rest. But thank you for dropping in. A pleasure to have you. Right, Jono just commenting on there. I'm okay with the company having a ton of different licenses, but I don't like when they're the only ones with it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do it right. Everyone gets to make turtle stuff. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because, I mean, Hasbro does have a lot of licenses, don't they? Yeah, I don't know. But only when... Yeah, so should, reciprocally, if more people are being permitted to make Marvel stuff and Hasbro has the exclusive license, then and there's little loopholes or niches within that they can farm out to other places, then should Todd's stranglehold on things like DC be opened up? Interesting. Anyway, swinging back around to the Operation Monster Force. So I'll pop the link in chat. Go and have a closer look, because obviously my little breakout news windows can be a bit small. But the more I see of real in-hand figures, the less into the line, less excited I become. It's the head sculpt on this guy that's put me off a little bit. It's a bit, the paint job on the skin tones and the hair doesn't look all that fantastically sculpted. So I'm still keeping an eye on it, because we've also seen the what do they call them in Monster Force language? Did I write it down? The Sleepwalkers, the Crimson Sleepwalkers. And these look better because obviously the helmet, they're not sculpting the features. And this one looks nice. This is one of the ones I have pre-ordered because, it's got old Palatoy Red Shadow vibes about it. But this one looks more like a more curious figure to me. And the paint applications on this one don't look quite as squiffy as they seem to on Van Helsing. But watching with interest, it seems to be picking up pace. On the Instagram post, they commented that we're looking at summer release. So, we're creeping up on that now. We're getting into June's on its way. So we'll see. But there's your Operation Monster Force update, a line that we're watching with interest. Let's have a quick swing through chat. So Brian, still considering the multiple license question that I put out there. The problem with a company having multiple lines is invariably certain properties are going to suffer or some will have favoritism. Look at NECA with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But Jono has a counterpoint to Brian there, saying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sells like crazy for them though, Brian. And it's not like NECA don't make other pop culture figures. And then, it's all going on in chat. Oh, I know, but just an example, Predator and Alien new releases are pretty thin on the ground since Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles blew up. Yeah, and arguably, in terms of action figure or product, general kind of product propositions, all of those IPs that you've mentioned are, well, I don't know, but they're pretty rich, is what I was going to say. Pretty rich pickings for what you could make good action figure or good statue content out of. Whereas Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, well, I mean, that's really, that's deep and wide, isn't it? The options that you got available to you there. I would also argue that, like Predator, I mean, I know the Prey was pretty good last year, but it's not like Ninja Turtles is just ubiquitous, isn't it? It's just, we've had a new movie in the last year. There's always new versions of the cartoon. The comics are still coming out and getting great reviews and all different. Whereas the likes of Predator and Alien, I think is becoming increasingly niche for just movie fans of our generation, maybe. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But I still see your earlier point, though, Brian, around, when a company has multiple lines, when they go laser beam focus on the line that is the good money spinner or the one that's, because you could argue, God damn it, I need to stop doing these streams so late. Let me organise my argument, my thoughts. So you could argue that is Todd hoovering up all these licenses and just taking any opportunity that comes knocking on the door or any door he wants to knock on, because he is, throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, and then the stuff that does stick he'll always pursue. Because one thing we do know from Todd really is that he's very financially minded. He's a greedy company owner in that way. We know that from all the gimmicky stuff and the chase figures and platinum edition, collector's edition, gold edition, all very making very financially driven decisions, which is no criticism. He's running a company. He's entitled to do that. So is Todd hoovering up licenses because of that phenomenon that you're talking about, Brian, that once they found the one that's the money generator, the one that hits and lands in a way that's going to be sustainable, that'll get more of an attention focus and the other stuff will drop by the wayside. It's possibly where Todd's going, and I definitely see your point 100%, Brian. Jono says, I expect a ton of new Alien stuff when Romulus comes out. Yep, absolutely. Brian, I know Predators fans are waiting on the Ultimate Wolf for years, but yeah, it was just an example, sure. And Brian says, Storm Collectibles is probably a better line. I spent more time picking up niche fighting game properties than finishing the ones they had, like Mortal Kombat, which they've now lost. Yeah, and the rumour is that that's Jada Toys who picked that up, isn't it? Which will be wonderful news if they approach Mortal Kombat figures in the same tone and attitude as they've taken with the Street Fighter 2 stuff, for sure. John says, Todd seems to be able to produce tons of stuff, mostly all new sculpts, and make money while doing it. Hasbro could learn a thing from him. Yeah, well, but there's lots of people complaining about distribution and figure availability and stock numbers, stock availability. But I don't know if it's often been speculated, but that's also a marketing strategy by McFarlane to create a sense of scarcity and desire and prestige around the figures. So who knows? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see what's next on my list. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, gentlemen. G.I. Joe time. Let's get into the G.I. Joe stuff. So if you've not already seen the compendium, the Skybound A Real American Hero compendiums are up on Kickstarter, ready to go. I've got the link if anybody's interested. When I was prepping this up yesterday, I was prepping it up off the back of the email that went round. However, it's there, it's up, it's live. From what I understand, it's already funded, and the first however many that were going to be autographed by Larry Hama are gone. Boom, sold, pledged. So it's proving popular. The pricing's not too bad, I don't think. It is more than I would be willing to spend on a comic book collection of that nature. But everything looks good, looks strong, looks promising. It appears to be well received. I was reading some of the comments on the Kickstarter page, and folks are like, yeah, lovely, great, wonderful. Looking really good, thanks guys, and all that kind of stuff. So very promising. There's some pledge unlocks, some incentives with some trading cards and things that look cool and interesting. The different binder cover designs and the collector's box that they come in looks great. It just looks like an all-round solid product. So if that's your thing and you're interested, guys, I've put the link in the chat for you. And for any video on demand watchers, I'll put it in the chat as well. But it's looking pretty solid, although Jono's there. Who's making these books? A Kickstarter for a comic book by a mainline company is kind of shitty, in my opinion. Yeah, well. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same with her. You know, this House Labs get this criticism as well. I don't crowdfund stuff anymore. I've got a couple of outstanding crowdfunding projects, but I've been stung by too many. But they were smaller companies, smaller organisations, apparently clearly badly run, mostly in the board gaming world, in the board gaming space. And so I tend to avoid crowdfunded stuff now. But I think it's fair to say that when Skybound have done this for a popular comic book series that was due a compendium version, you know, or in the board game world, when a company that's already established and doing well is producing a Kickstarter, it has been basically reduced to a glorified pre-order system, in essence. You know, they just want to, and just about not overproducing, you know, just producing the exact amount of numbers that they need. And in the board game world, I don't know if this is true of stuff like this compendium, but in the board game world, when a Kickstarter game has kind of got up and running and done on the Kickstarter, after a period of time, a retail version trickles out. It might not be quite as prestigious, so you know, game components within the game in the Kickstarter version were, I don't know, wooden sculpted or pewter or whatever, or, you know, good quality components, and then the retail version that eventually comes out is a bit kind of, is cardboard and plastic versions and stuff. So it's obviously within the realms of possibility. They're capable of getting that put together. But yeah, it's basically a glorified pre-order scheme so that they don't have to overspend on. They can produce just exactly as many as they need. Oh, hello, Connor. Connor's here, everybody. Say hi to Connor. And then continuing the debate on HasLabs. HasLabs do get the criticism, and I agree, kind of bullshit, but HasLabs have a production cost in making molds and prototypes. This is just book printing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to the behind-the-scenes stuff on that, Jono, but I also can't say your points were unreasonable at all. They make sense to me. And Curtis says, yeah, you're right. I really just see this as a glorified pre-order. Yeah, that's absolutely what's going on there. But, you know, just in terms of heads up notification, I'll put the link in the chat again. It's link number 3. If that's your bag, if it's something you're interested in, if you do want to pre-order your compendium, then there's the info for you. So that's all cool. But that's not the only thing that's been going on in the world of G.I. Joe. I'm sure some of you folks saw that the Shark-Eyed Toy Review, or Shark-Eyed Toy View, over on YouTube, based out of Australia, has a Naugahyde and a retro beachhead in hand, and has shared some photos around and done his video reviews on his channel. So first things first, let me get you his channel link, so that you can go and take a look at those reviews yourself if you're interested. I've not watched either because I don't watch other people's reviews if it's a figure I've pre-ordered and plan on reviewing myself. So I tend to avoid watching other people's reviews unless I really want to know about a figure. I tend to avoid it. And then what I do is I review it myself, and I go around and see how close or far off opinion I was from everyone else after the fact, which is a whole weird thing. My wife says this to me all the time, like, why are you watching that? I thought you made your own review. I'm like, yeah, but I need to see if people agree with me now. But that's the point. It needs to be an impartial review, doesn't it? So I've not watched him, but I've seen his stuff before. He's just a good, solid Joe bro out there, living his best life, loving his figs. And the photos and the look at the figure that he provides looks solid to me. So go on over. I think he'll be very giddy and excited right now. I've been in that position before where here in the UK, a G.I. Joe classified figure has landed before anywhere else, and I've got the review up and I've watched my numbers go like that. So he'll be loving it in a minute, and I wish him all the best because it's an absolute buzz when that happens. I've been there before. So go and check it out. But yeah, the Norgahide's looking pretty good. I mean, most of my opinions at this moment in time remain the same from when I saw the reveal, when they revealed it on stream. The accessory selection just looks a bit off to me, like the rifle, the reuse of the low light rifle, the reuse of the shadow tracker compound bow and backpack and stuff just looks a bit naff, and I'm not so sure. But from what I've seen of the sculpt of the figure, the sculpt looks really exciting. The head sculpt in particular, like with the scarring and stuff and the tattoo paint apps and that, they look great and interesting. I like the pork belly and yobbo as well. I think Classified do their animal characters justice. So go check out Shark Eyed Toy Review. Link in the chat there. There's just a quick peek at the retro beachhead as well that he's shared. Actually, I might watch that one because I've not bothered ordering the beachhead. Although I am tempted. I've got the first version of beachhead, and I kind of don't like to repeat figures. But there is something about that one catching my eye. I'll tell you what, though, look at the colour of that fucking gun. What are they doing with the colour of that fucking gun? It looks dreadful. Will you just sort out your gun cuddles out, dudes? Aye. Right, let's have a little swing through chat and see what folks have got to say about this. Okay, I know, but I'm old. I always find these Kickstarters and tiers confusing. Fair enough. We'll get you hooked up with someone who can mentor you through them, Connor. But there is something about like just sell me the thing, will you? Sell me the thing. Maybe at the end I'll do a bit of naming and shaming of the a few of the companies that have let me down. Brian says there, can't wait to get Norgahide. First instant pre-order for G.I. Joe I've done in a while. Won't be watching, don't want to be influenced. That's fair. I'm in the same position. I know I've got a chat full of you YouTubers here with me. That's cool. And in fact, yeah, Brian does that too, sure. And Connor says he's rushed videos just so he can go back and watch my one. Me too, man. In fact, so I've not seen your Techno Viper review yet, and I've got Techno Viper queued up down there, and he's going to be my next review, so I can go back and watch yours. G4 says, yeah, once Norgahide, Doc, Jinx, and Torch release, my wallet's really going to be mad. Well, so that's, tell you what, though, so did you see what, apparently Amazon.com had those 4 figures and another one. Who was the other one? The Night Creeper. Due for release this week on the 30th of May, I want to say. And loads of people rushed to pre-order because they were, the first date in the diary. Undoubtedly the likes of Punk with Toys and Bees Battlegrounds and all those guys will have been on it trying to get their hands on one first. And then emails started to go round saying, like they do, so sorry to let you know, but there's going to be a delay on this. And it's been pushed back to August, I think, sometime. And I was seeing on the socials, people screenshotting the email and having a big old gripe, and Jersey Maniac was having a go about distribution and production. I'm like, why the fuck is it in Australia and not over here, and all that kind of stuff. So all those figures have been pushed back. But I noticed on UK Hasbro Pulse, we're still looking at a July release date for those, which is still not great because they're all going to arrive together. And they are, as you say, G4, going to be an absolute strain on the wallet. But the Jinx and the Torch look great to me. I love the Torch with the leather and the chains and stuff. And Jinx, I can't wait to get a nice little sort of G.I. Joe the movie lineup going on with Chuckles and Tunnel Rat, and they'll eventually do a big lob and who am I missing? Big Lob, Chuckles, Law and Order. From the trainee group, and get the beachhead, ordering them around and things. Bobby, by the way, if he's still here in chat, folks, Bobby has done the most incredible G.I. Joe the movie Dio, which is the Tunnel Rat and Big Lob obstacle course scene. It looks incredible. If you've got it up on an Instagram or a social somewhere, Bobby, then please do share the link, because these guys will love seeing that. The dog ate my low light rifle, so I need this to replace this one. All right, fair enough. Although I've been looking, so a couple of the Joe Bros, I know Curtis is in the chat, a couple of the Joe Bros from the Discord server that I hang out in, or well, more like lurk around in. There's so much chat goes on in there, I can't keep up with it, but I lurk around. They picked up some, maybe Gridiron Studios or someone on Etsy, like a more classic low lighty sniper rifle, which I want to say is an anyone a gun person? M24? I don't know guns. But I went and had a look, finishing my story, and the Gridiron stuff is so expensive to buy in the first place, because it's good quality stuff. But then once you got your shipping on it, it's out the realms of reasonable. Yeah, the colour of Beachhead's gun's bad, man. I agree, Reels Imp. John O's, I'm happy with the first Beachhead, as he has a Z-Force 5 to him with the red hat. Yep. Yeah, having the removable hat as well is really cool. Action figure guns look naff when done in those crazy colours. Well, that's it. I mean, when you look at it there, like I've said this about the backpacks before as well. It's like there's somebody out there who's a weapon sculptor and a backpack sculptor and an accessory sculptor, and they spend ages sculpting a great piece of kit. Like, some of the backpacks look amazing, and the guns, for all the rubbery plastic choice, they're relatively well sculpted, and then they go and mold it in that looks luminous. You know what I mean? Anyway, I feel so sorry for the sculptors sometimes. Fuller says, Bobby, please share. Brian's got to go. No worries, man. Thanks very much for swinging by. Pleasure as always, Brian. G-Force there saying, past few months have been tight. Taxes, registered both vehicles, truck tyres and battery, trying to save for Joe Fest, and Connor cut off my sugar daddy buddy. Yeah, I got nothing to follow that one up. Oh dear. So there you go. There's your G.I. Joe update. The compendium and some stuff has started to drop in Australia. But what that then would indicate that your importers, because I think Australia's got it pretty quick because of their, on the side of the world that they're on, and their, I was going to say closeness to the production in the Far East, but they're not actually that close. But they're closer than we are. So keep an eye on your importers. There's a couple of independent retailers over here in the UK that I use that import figures, that get them, have to circumvent Hasbro because they're Hasbro Pulse exclusive over here. So we might see some of these coming over here a bit sooner rather than later, through the importers. Yeah, which is lovely. All right, okay, and then what else have we got on my list? Oh, just one more thing for you folks. You guys seen this F.I.S.T action figures guy? South American dude who's been knocking around, and he's got his own little action figure line going, and he's going to be at Joe Fest, I believe. So it's F.I.S.T, but it's an acronym, F.I.S.T, which stands for, I wrote it down, First Interdimensional Special Team. And they fight the members of SAFE, which is the Safe Army of Freedom Edge. And he's got a website, he's set up a load of lore and stuff. That's Mad Dog from F.I.S.T, and this is Doom Sinner from SAFE, that have got like a kind of orky, space orc kind of vibe to them. He's been doing the rounds, posting pictures on Instagram. He's been doing the conventions and stuff. He's Well, I'm a bit confused about pre-orders because I saw an Instagram post that says pre-order now, and it had a link to where you could go pre-order them. In fact, there is his Instagram page if anyone wants to go have a look. But then I went to the website and got this, like, just a load of blank boxes that say example products. And I'm like, oh, okay, so is it available for pre-order yet? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. But they look interesting. You know, again, military-style figure. They look a little rough around the edges, but this is like a guy who's just getting it done by himself, which I think a little rough around the edges is fine, you know, but is acceptable when it's you know, a little one-man band or a couple of man band just following their dream. And I've got nothing but positive things to say about the industrious and entrepreneurial nature of the guy. So they look interesting, they look good. Connor's been following F.I.S.T for ages and really like what he's doing. Just can't do importing a new line right now. Yeah, I totally agree. Again, I noticed you posted a Valiverse review the other day, a day or two ago, and I was like, oh, you'll have paid the shipping on that. I felt your pain, man. Yeah, import. It's going to be. Well, I don't know. I noticed again an Instagram post where the guy over at F.I.S.T, I didn't write his name down. I should have written his name down. I was more concerned with writing down the name of the characters of the figures than I was of the guy. But I noticed he put a post up saying, are you a retailer? Would you like to sell these figures? Get in touch. So who knows? Maybe there's some agreements and some lines of communication that have been opened through that may help us out here on the European side of the world. Who knows? But I just think it's really interesting. I think it's really encouraging that there's someone who's got themselves off the ground, created these figures, passion project, created some lore for them himself. So it's got a bit of a universe that they exist in. And I'm into that, and I'm almost inclined to buy one, just to have a look and have a play and give them a go, but also just to show the guy a bit of love and a bit of support, you know. So we'll see how much they cost, and like I say, I went to have a look to try and get some of the information for you guys, and it was just this kind of placeholder page. So hopefully there'll be more info on that front soon. But they're cool. I like the idea of Space Orcs. Again, do go and have a look on his Instagram page in the link I've popped in chat, or will be posting in the comments down below for the video on demand, folks, so that you can have a nosy at your leisure in a bit more detail. I'll probably say I like the Space Orc a bit better than I do the Mad Dog character. But they've got this, I don't know, it's sort of, speaking of, we mentioned aliens before, like this kind of Space Marine-y aliens, Colonial Marine, sorry, kind of vibe about them, look and feel. The orcs wearing a beret, I love it. So it's got a lot of personality and a lot of character, which is always great to see. The weaponry looks put together really well. Just looks like an interesting package all around. And I kept clocking them and thinking, I'm going to bring them up on one of my streams. And so today was the day where I remembered and wrote it on my list and said, yes, must talk about F.I.S.T. Make sure I go pick up his logo and get a link together that I can share. Because if nothing else, like I say, I've got a lot of respect for someone who has just gone out on their own and said, I really want to make my action figure dream come true. I'm going to do it and not use Kickstarter. Has just gone, bam, here we go. And is doing the grind, doing the work. On his Instagram page, you see he's at convention after convention and sharing and talking to fans and just really growing his community and his network around it, and I think that's really, really sound, and I got a lot of respect for that. So I might pick up a Space Orc just because it kind of, there's something about it that tickles my fancy, and of course because it's a military style line, I can get it mixed in with me Operation Monster Force when they come, and I don't think there's any harm mixing that in with a bit of G.I. Joe or Valiverse if you want to lean more into the more kind of fantastical science fiction-y side. Certainly of the G.I. Joe IP. There's no problem there. Like I say, Mad Dog I'm less into, because I just think, well, if I want just a big meathead soldier figure, there's no shortage of meathead soldier figures, and certainly with G.I. Joe, there's characters of that nature that have that are resonant with me. But I definitely the orcas tickled my fancy a little bit for sure. Tickled my fancy a bit. Let's have a look. So yeah, Jono says looks pretty cool, and Connor over at Fuller's Figures. Too right, Chris. He's done hard work to get this line out. Great to see it. Yeah, absolutely, and. Without getting kind of mired down in it, his attitude, you know, when you compare him to, say, let me just try and think of another kind of personality in that space. Bobby Valler's a good example, isn't it? You know, he's gone out on his own, set his own company up, done his own thing. You know, for whatever criticisms I have of Bobby Valler and Valorverse around his professionalism and his attitude, again, you can't not acknowledge the fact that he had a dream, an idea, a set of skills. He wanted to use them. He had a passion for action figure creating, particularly military line toys, and he's done it. He's got it off the ground and done his thing, and again set up a universe and got the lore together, and sculpting figures and built a fan base and networked around. And this guy, God, I'm going to look up his name because I feel actually quite aggrieved with myself that I wrote down the name of the characters but not his name. I feel like I'm doing him a disservice. So allow me a moment. There he is, quite close to the top because I got the link to add to the thing. So from Colombia. Oh, he's not got his name in the description. Oh, Landon Stewart, I think. By the looks of it, yeah, Landon Stewart. So Invincible Toys. He seems to have the Invincible Toys page and the F.I.S.T action figure page. I think Invincible Toys might be the website that they sell through. Yeah, and then he's got different Instagrams for the individual brands within that. I mean, he's got a little vehicle here. When did he post that? 20th of May. Oh, right. Go check him out. The guy is doing the Lord's work. Obviously, incredibly passionate, and following his dreams there. And I've got a lot of respect for that. And I wanted to carve away a bit of time to say, you know, good job, F.I.S.T action figures, dude. All right, and that is the end of my prepared material, folks. That's everything that I had lined up, that I'd, noted up that I wanted to talk about on my little list of things. That, of course, is not an exhaustive list of things that has gone on this last week since I streamed, but it's the things that caught my eye or I fancied talking about this week, so I hope you enjoyed that. However, I will open the floor and ask chat if there's anything else that they would like me to cover, talk about, discuss, put out there. I can do some stuff on the fly. I got a new dio the other day. Would you like to see my new dio? Just got myself a little brick wall off eBay. Not too bad. It was from Scratch Dioramas. A little magnetic base on it there, which was nice. Oh, I was looking for something a little smaller than my street scene that I could just quickly, chuck together and bang stuff up against. So that was something interesting and exciting this week. I think Bobby might have gone. He's not shared his awesome dio, but it's great. Yeah, it is pretty cool. So at Scratch Dioramas, but it was his eBay shop that I picked it up from. But it really cool, and he sent me a little bundle of stuff. I say he, could be a she. I'm just operating on the assumption that it's a man-child nerd like me. Like a little foldable like cereal box and stuff that clips together. And like a Heroes for Hire poster to stick on the wall if I wanted, and a little comic book, a little Metroid Hang on, put it in front of my face so the focus on that. There you go. Little Metroid comic book. I mean, it's not got, it's not, not, but he's even printed the back cover, which I believe is the legitimate, I remember that advert on the back of comics. So, really cool. A few little extra cheeky accessories chucked in, and with a little note saying, here you go, here's a few bits, hope you enjoy. Yeah, so nice. John likes it. That wall's pretty cool. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, the only downside of it is that because it's just two pieces there, whereas my street scene has got a third piece. It's a box. It's a little weebly. Hang on, little weebly wobbly on the back there. But that's fine. If I'm because it still stands independently stands. Fine. And the thickness of the back wall piece means that it's not imbalanced. But for like a photo of an action figure standing in front of the wall for the purposes of a quick cheeky Instagram shot, it's fine. Yeah. Oh, hang on, I just noticed someone new in there. Hey, Mr. B. Oh, no, not that one. That one. How's it going? Welcome. So let's have a look. That's sweet. GeForce, nice. I just picked up foam for dioramas, but I think I'll make risers instead. Yeah, so I was talking to a guy a while ago at a gaming convention, and this guy made dioramas for short 20 millimeter base painted minis, and he had the Napoleonic War scene, and then he had a kind of like hellscape kind of sword and sorcery scene and stuff, all really great. And he was selling sort of foam kits, and it had one of the what are they called, hot knife type things for cutting them, and some bits. And I was chatting to him, and he was saying, once you got your head around it, it's actually really quite straightforward. The more challenging bit is the kind of more artistic element of painting it up and making it look nice and realistic with your paint job, which was pretty cool. But he was selling in a box. But the stuff he was selling was for the purposes of, like I say, for like Warhammer and stuff, and historical war game figures and things. So they were all small, and the dios were on a table like this computer desk, but with like hundreds of these miniatures on them, and guys in chariots and things. And so the pack he sold didn't have enough in it to make something, because I was saying, well, actually, I'm more interested in things for a 6-inch scale action figure than I am for miniatures. I'm not really one for miniatures. So I think once if his advice is accurate, once you get your head around it, you're laughing. My problem is I'm not much of a painter. I've just got some miniatures recently, actually, for me fighting fantasy habit. There's a company, Blue Ocean Studios, that have just done some miniatures, and I'm sending them down to my mate Andy, who is a miniature painter, and much more of the sword and sorcery side of the MoD extra setup than I am, and he's going to paint one up for me and one up for him, so I can have it to go with me fighting fantasy novels there. Okay, Will, what do you think about the recent Figure Obscura set of Egypt god figures? Yeah, they look good. I mean, hang on, let me just get some nicotine. Yeah, they look good. They look great. I mean, the Figure Obscura stuff. Around Christmas time, I was talking about the what's his name? Scrooge guy. Jesus, someone help me out. I just had a brain fart on the name. Chains, the first ghost. Oh my god, I should stop doing these so late. And they look great. I mean, the sculpting detail looks absolutely fantastic. They're just a bit too pricey for me. I think if there was one thing that I would say that means I don't pay it a lot of attention is that they're too pricey, and they're hard to get hold of here in the UK. So the retailers who do sell them, they're at an inflated price because obviously they're covering their import costs. But I think they look incredible. The sculpting detail and the paint applications and stuff of what I've seen look absolutely outstanding. There was it Figure Obscura who did that Father Christmas with the soft goods stuff, like a like a more traditional folklore-y St. Nicholas thing. Looked amazing. You know, looked really, really cool. So I've got nothing but positive things to say. Well, I just, at this moment in time, with the lines I'm collecting, I'm just not sure I can stretch to it. Some of their sword and sorcery fantasy stuff has caught my eye now and again, but the reason I've not done it is because the scale. I've got the D&D NECA. I've been collecting the D&D NECA figures, and the scale is the NECA figures are 7-inch, and the Figure Obscura are 6, aren't they? So. I've always paused for a moment and had a look and had a little, you know, gooey-eyed minute or two, just drooling over them. But I've never pulled the trigger on Figure Obscura because you have to buy them direct from them, don't you? And they sell out on the exclusives real quick. 4 Horsemen. So G-Force here. 4 Horsemen do amazingly detailed figures, just not for me. Yeah, the sculpting and the paint applications and the accessories and the fine detail stuff they put into them just looks really great. Really great. Mr. B just saying hi to everyone. Colin says, such a cool talent to be able to create those dios. Yeah, well, so funnily enough, this very weekend coming up, I'm off to the UK Games Expo down in Birmingham. So keep an eye on my Insta. I'll track down all the guys with the cool dios and painted statues and stuff, and I'll throw some pickies up. You can have a look at that little side of the MoDXtra interests. Let me unselect that one. G4 says you can do it. It's so simple. Yeah, just buy one of these guys' packs. Or you could do it. Well, you'd have to start up the sugar daddy money again, then, wouldn't you? Surely. Hot knives with hashish. Yeah, for Christmas I'm getting a hot wire table. Yeah, that's hot wire. That's right. Yeah, so you can do the the stuff, the thing. And then, so Frost Mirage, which I believe this is also your first comment, Frost Mirage, so I'll start by saying hello and welcome to the stream. Do you think the Joe team will re-release the Vamp and Clutch? I'm ready for one and hoping I haven't missed out completely. Well, I suspect you might be disappointed, Frost Mirage. So this has been asked of the G.I. Joe team, and they've been a little cagey and avoiding of the question and answering it in a bit of a political way. So I would like to see it re-released, because you're not the first person who I've seen out and about saying, I missed out and I would really love one. It's a great set, looks wonderful. So I will keep my fingers crossed, but I can't shake the feeling you might be disappointed. However, there are some leading rumours that we're going to see some Vamp variants coming down the pipeline, which, if you're okay with that, might satisfy your need. Thanks for your question, Frost Mirage. Okay, more talk. Jacob Marley, of course. Oh, wow. So if that comment's only just come up, the time delay must be massive between me talking and you receiving it. Heated foam cutters. G-Force would like to know if anyone has a line on a ferret for retailers price. Keep me in mind. Yeah. On that note, if anyone's has bought more than one and doesn't want the rider figure, tap me up, because I don't want the ferret, but I want the cool BMX biker chick. She looks awesome. Mr. B, my grandfather rigged up a D battery and wire to cut foam back in the day. Old school. And Johnny says the Vamp will 100% get a Deco variant along with a Cobra version. Yeah, absolutely. We'll be seeing a Stinger. Was it the Stinger? Yeah, the Stinger. Jesus, what time is it? 20 past 11. I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon, guys, because I'm getting to that point of the night, as a number of you have seen before, where I just start forgetting things that I know. like Jacob Marley's name. Goes to Marley. Jesus. Yeah, okay, bro. Anything else, folks? Anything else for while you've got me? While we're hanging out. Anything else I can cover? Do I need to start preparing more pre-prepared stuff, do you think, or more discussion topics? Let me know if you think, you don't have to answer now, but let me know if that's the case. But I am at about, I'm creeping up on an hour and a half here. The wire tables are basically a bandsaw for foam. Yeah. So I've seen some guys as well. They get the foam and they sort of cut it on the, on the wire tables, and then they glue them up together to make it like mountainous. And then they get, I want to say cat litter. Could be wrong, but cat litter, I think. And they put glue on and they put the cat litter down it to then give it more of a, so it looks like less like you've put layers of foam on top of each other to give it more of a sheer thing. And then they airbrush it and start painting it. Mr. B, what's this ferret thing you guys are talking about? I got here late. So the ferret is in the G.I. Joe Classified line, Mr. B. Yeah, not a live ferret, no. Which is the quad bike, the G.I. Joe quad bike, and it's a vehicle pack with the quad bike, and then a rider, female character with a biker helmet and stuff. Looks really cool. In fact, let me see if I can give you a very quick peek at one if you've not seen one before. Let's go to UK.Hasbro Pulse. And then let's go over to that screen there. Just make sure that's working. Yeah. G.I. Joe, Classified Series. Oh, well, there you go. There's the Tiger Force ferret, or otherwise known as the paw. Here we go. That's the one we're talking about there. Mr. B. There we go. But I really love this this biker figure. I like the grey and blue color scheme. I love the sort of 80s BMX helmet thing going on. I want the figure, but I haven't got the space for the ferret itself. Yeah. Oh, GeForce. So it looks like they've still got them in stock here in the UK for 56 quid. So I could get you one for retail price, but then obviously the shipping cost would be problematic. So yeah, that's what we're talking about there, Mr. B. Let me go back to get my lovely face again. There you go. And then let's just close that. Obviously, if we did that, you'd have to watch out for customs, as we've already discussed today. Right, let's see. Live ferret, Cobra ferret for new release. Yeah, reels in, stoked for the ferret. Oh, coming next month to the US. And both versions are sold out instantly in North America. Well, yeah, sorry, Connor. I just knew. I just knew there would be a guaranteed picture, so I could show Mr. B. Sorry, I should know better. Oh dear, must resist, Connor. Yeah, no, you're quite welcome, Mr. B. And then Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro. Good morning. Oh, well, it's evening for me now. I'm very sorry, Frostbite G.I. Joe Repro, but you've arrived at the tail end of the stream. I'm about to wrap up soon. But thank you for swinging by. It'll be available on video on demand if you want to go catch the earlier conversation, but it's just the open floor kind of AMA section that I do just to finish up. We were just talking about the G.I. Joe ferret. I've resisted buying the G.I. Joe ferret myself. I didn't pre-order it, but every day as time goes on, I mean, I've been like, oh, should I get one just so I've got the figure and then sell my quad bike to someone? But I've been trying to fight the urge. All good, I'll check out the replay. No worries, my man. I'm very grateful for you swinging by to the stream, though, my friend. It's just bad timing. It's getting late for me over here in the UK. It's 25 past 11. I'm going to have to get to bed and get my beauty sleep for work tomorrow. Still working. Right, okay, it appears to have gone a bit quiet in chat. So I'll bring us to a close there. Coming up, I've done an hour and a half live. So, as always, an absolute pleasure to have you all join me for a stream. Any feedback, any notes that would help me just continue working on this, making it better, giving you some, I don't know, extra value or things. I'll do some work behind the scenes for switching screens a little bit better, or if I'm bringing up web pages and things, just to bring that to life. I'm not like you StreamYard users. I like to overcomplicate things with my OBS. But always open to and welcome to feedback. So just track me down on Instagram or whatever. I did do one thing, actually, that I haven't used. Have I shown you this yet? I set up a little thing. Did you like that? Did he come up? Yeah, there he is. Oh, I put my things on. I haven't found a way to use it yet, though. But I was doing a tutorial. It showed me how to set it up. But thank you very much for
Your friend Chris.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation this evening. I'll see you guys again sometime soon. Keep an eye out in a day or two's time. I've got my Yojo June wish list to drop in as the next video on the channel. So take it easy and make sure you all check out Brian, GeForce, Fuller's, all the guys, because they've got great channels too. All right, take it easy, everyone. Night-night. Do you want to end the stream? Yeah, I'm sure I want to end the stream. Thank you very much.